Sarah, how's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I am good. Thank you so much. Unfortunately for you, I'm sorry, the absolute butt crack of dawn. I apologize to have you up so early, but thank you for the time. This is awesome.
Fine, I should probably be up anyway.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm really excited. Congrats on the new record you guys just put out just Friday, a couple days ago. Exit interview. Absolutely psyched. How has it been as far as on your guys' end, as far as the release?
Really good. Probably so far the best we've, like reaction feedback we've had. So
Love it.
I get progress.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And I mean, I can hear that too. Like that's kind of one of those things within punk and within hardcore, sometimes people can kind of feel that things are stagnant or, kind of sound, have a similar sound with it. This new EP is absolutely wicked. It's sick. Now, before kind of getting too far, was this something that you guys have, within the last year started kind of conjuring together as far as working on the EP?
We kind of started as soon as we could get together again. So, I mean, we finished this like by last March. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's been a long time just sitting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like there's been, there's lots of that too. Like, it's kind of funny where, like, over the pandemic, there's been people that are like, oh man, when are you guys coming out with new music? It's like, we just released a whole album. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's hard with, if you're on vinyl, it's like you pretty much have to at least add a year to whatever you're doing.
Totally. So, I mean, going back, prior to this, as far as earlier interests, even before heavier music, where do you kind of come across music or bands or musicians that start, really kind of hitting your ear and some, piquing your interest as far as personal interest in music?
I mean, now it's so easy. I just go on Spotify and it's right there, anything I want. But when I was young, I read magazines and I didn't have too many older friends or anything. My sister got me into like Corn and stuff, It's
Okay.
people my age, but yeah, just magazines and just picking stuff out at the CD store, record store.
I love it. What were earlier bands that that you were really into?
I mean, everything starts with Nirvana always, but
Okay.
I mean, I got into like spread heavy music. I mean, early ones converge between the.
Oh yeah.
I always go back to because that was one I just randomly found at the record store. Boys in the Well. I kind of got into core.
Okay. Now, initially, you're from the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and kind of tell us about some of those special spots to you. As far as maybe they were music shops, maybe they were venues that you were attending. What were some cool things that you had as far as being on the East Coast and local to you musically?
Yeah. The first places I went were like local VFWs and stuff like that. But I think anyone in like the Northeast PA, Scranton area, it's Cafe Metropolis. That was the first place I started really going to 15, 16. It lasted, I think, till 2010. So
Oh, dang.
it was, I mean, I saw like wild shows there that I never even, now I look back on them like, I saw like the rise of Title Fight and the Menzingers and bands like that. They were all local
Oh,
bands.
dang.
So
Wow, that's wild.
it was awesome. And then I eventually moved in with one of the guys that worked there, so I would just pop in all the time and just hang out, He molded me.
Okay, that's always nice having like that little in to where it's like, hey, we have a show that's going to be coming up that's not really going to be even advertised. Like, you got to stop by. It's going to be something big. Like, that's always fun being able to have that, or buddies or somebody that you live with where, you kind of have that in with being able to check out stuff.
Sure. And when you're broke, it's great,
And when you're broke. For sure. Did you have anybody, kind of touching on like record shops and whatnot, anybody that was introducing you to, stuff in particular, like somebody that you would go and maybe they're like, oh yeah, I remember that you said that you liked this, you should really check this out.
Not at like a shop or anything, but I don't even know how we met, but I had this friend I haven't talked to in a long time, and he got me into a lot of weirder music, I guess. A lot of the like screamo stuff I liked, and like I don't know. He would just give me records, and I don't have a lot of them anymore. But yeah, just had this one friend, kind of group of friends who got me into the more like Blood Brothers kind of stuff, and
Oh,
like
yeah, okay.
screamo bands, and like forever grateful to this person, but hope he's. But yeah, just a few years older, so like new people, new bands, and
Sure.
yeah.
It's always fun having, like where you think that you kind of have an understanding of, the stuff that's out there, and then somebody shows you something like Blood Brothers. It's like, who made this? Like, what is this?
I didn't know, I didn't know all the genres of like hardcore and everything when I was younger, which, it's wild. There's so much music.
Yeah, and it's still crazy even today too, but like especially earlier on, like there was still beat down and there was still like just the crazy like math core, and there's always been so many different genres, It's like I think it's kind of fun when somebody's just like, "Hey, I'm a D-beat band," or "I am just a fast hardcore." It's like, "Oh, okay, sick. I can get behind that for sure." I love that. Not thinking too much over it. Now as far as, before times of streaming, you kind of touched on this, but and everybody having their phones and Spotify and different things. What, did you have like a go-to CD player or a stereo or just something that you had at home that was, that was kind of your go-to thing that was hard to break away from when all of these technologies started coming around?
I mean, I definitely had the like, 3 or 5 CD changer, like the, and it like Sony, whatever. And I had, started with my Walkman, and then I got a Discman, and then I got the like anti-shock Discman. But the Discman was around for a long time. I had that thing everywhere.
Yes.
And then when, I had an old car, and you could like hook your Discman to stereo. So my Discman's sitting on the passenger seat, and I'm trying not to hit bumps, so my CD
did the G-Shock, did that ever actually work for you? I feel like I paid like exponentially more on CD players. Maybe it was like saving up allowances or, like Christmas money or something. And I feel like it just never worked out for me. I go on bike rides and I'm like, oh my God, 20-minute record was 50 minutes.
better than whatever I had before. But still, it wasn't great, but it was a little better. But at the time, it felt like a luxury.
Man, what a struggle. I mean, like it kind of feels like, after getting to streaming, like we did away completely with that, but then now we have buffering, where there's times where it's like, oh, this is just as bad, but yet this isn't supposed to skip.
Yeah, I hate to, have stuff on my phone, so permanently wait for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now, as far as like your inspiration, earlier on, as far as maybe kind of like transitioning into being involved in music, how did that come about as far as taking on vocals and that path?
I wanted to be in a since I was like 14, and thankfully I had a bedroom that was just the top floor, so I could like scream along to my songs, and my parents would. But finally, I mean, I was in my 20s when I started. Just met the right people, but I was, we would listen to like Trash Talk or Ceremony and stuff. Like those are the like that kind of vocals, and I really wanted to do that, and so that's kind of where I started. Like Modern Love is War, Poison the Well, those are like big inspirations vocally for me.
Dang. Okay.
I don't know if but.
Okay. And some of those records were the ones that you were, yelling along with and kind of, breaking into the whole idea of vocals?
Yeah.
Did you ever play anything as far as like, because I know I've seen different videos of you playing bass, and have you played like instrument wise, like guitar or anything in a band before?
I have not. I've never played an instrument live. I'm just like past few years just minimally playing bass, so I could write pretty much. Hopefully,
Oh, okay.
I kind of started more playing bass. I don't. I'll also be really, really scared if I'm like in front of people doing that. I don't know how.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, now, like, breaking into that, as far as within vocals, like, bring us back to, your first time going and being in a band and how, that works as far as, was there something before entry? I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, I had a band when I was like 21. Lasted a few years. It was one of my best friends, but it was
Okay.
But we had fun. We had a lot of cool shows. We were just like, not well put together.
Okay. But this was something you were still doing vocals, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What about the first show with that
the
band?
first show was in, I think, Bethlehem, PA. It was a house show. And it was actually very cool. I think we played with some kind of like mathy emo bands because that was very big at the time. But and like some of our friends were in those bands. But yeah, I remember that, and I was like, wow, I need to do this forever. So
Okay. Was this your first time recording?
yeah.
Okay. All right. And having something like, was it nerve-wracking? Like, how does it work, as far as like you playing live versus practice versus studio time? Like, do you have, one that you prefer over the other, one that you hate?
I hate recording.
Me too.
I hate it.
Oh my God. That's insane. Okay, so like what is your take on that? What is it that you don't like?
Because I'm just gonna be critical of every single little thing, even though it doesn't matter. It's like I'm yelling.
Yeah. For some reason it's like every time you go and you will practice like over and over, there's not an issue, and then it's just something about a studio for some reason. And I can have, the most like patient, cool like engineers that what you're working with, and it just gets into my head for some reason. I don't know why. And it's every time I just end up like completely psyching myself out about it. And it turns out fine. Like, it's nothing to it, but yeah, I don't love recording either. That's funny.
I absolutely hate it. And like a lot I don't sound. It's like at least I'm trying. And there
Yeah.
on the record it's like it's forever, so
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now, as far as that first time having something physical with that first band, did you guys print CDs? Did you do anything, as far as relative like that? Or was it just like a streaming type thing?
I know we did tapes. I think that might be the end of it. I know we had planned to do some like vinyl split with another band, and then it never happened, which was like par for the course with that band. Everything we ever planned didn't happen. But yeah, we definitely had tapes. I don't think I have them. I wish I did. But
dang,
that's about it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my former band. If you're watching, but everything was
Okay. Well, no, it's cool. I mean, I think, I just appreciate hearing that out of like, somebody being, in those initial states. And for younger, musicians, there's a lot of people that, watch my videos that, are just kind of breaking, cutting their teeth into this stuff, and kind of hearing that like people that have made it or people that are playing bigger shows are like all the same. Like we all came in that same, like circle of just trying to figure out what the hell we're doing. So I appreciate it. I love hearing that.
I think a lot of time you see new bands now and they like immediately pop off and like their demo sounds amazing. It's like it's okay if it doesn't. Like everyone needs to know that
Yeah.
recordings and played 100 shows where nobody came. So if that's you, that's fine.
Yep.
But
and that's a great point. Yeah, that's a solid point. I mean, there's been different times where people have kind of touched on, like in high school, doing like a like a talent show, and they have all their friends and people are cheering and crowd surfing and all this, and then it's like they get to like a VFW and there's like one person. It's like, whoa, what happened? Like why aren't everybody out here? This like huge crowd.
I,
Like, yeah, you're starting to hit reality. Yeah, no, that's cool, and that's a good point. I mean, now as far as like the transition from, was this band kind of the leadway into you joining or starting Entry, I should say?
not really. There was a few years separation there, and I tried to do a couple other bands that just never worked out. But I also moved like all the time, so it's probably my fault.
Oh, okay, all right. How does Entry come about then?
I became friends and then started dating Clayton, who played. Now he plays bass. He did play guitar, but he had wanted to start something with me after I was like, we should start a band. We should start a band. Um, so he said he would like to do that. So he wrote some stuff, sent it to me over the internet, and I recorded separately, and we kind of just very slowly did that. I mean, I lived in Pittsburgh at the time, so it wasn't really easy to be a band with just two people
Oh,
living
dang.
together, but then I moved to California, and then we slowly kind of found the right people.
Okay. So initially, when you were starting, you were across the continent.
Yeah.
Oh, dang! Wow. Okay. During that time of you being, across the United States, did you guys play shows, or was this just kind of like the development of like writing and getting some stuff together?
Pretty much just that. Right before I moved to LA, we had a couple of our friends in Pittsburgh just play a couple shows with us, just filled in. So
Hmm.
our first tour was like 4 days in Pennsylvania, New Jersey with some of our friends, and then moved here and just kind of slowly got that together. But, it's a process.
Okay. What about like your process with before going out for a show and how maybe that has transitioned from, early on from you starting versus, now, and how you kind of prep and, center yourself, if you will, as far as for going out and playing.
Um, I mean, for me, I just drink tea, stretch, sometimes a little
Okay.
whiskey. Times, but yeah, I have to stretch now. No matter, I mean, it's just like I just could pull something so easily now.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would play shows. I'd be like, my ankle would be swollen or something. I'd be like, that's fine, and then I'd go play, and then it would heal in 2 days, and it was.
Oh man.
But like recovery, just try to stay loose.
Yeah, I hear that. It always amazes me for anybody, like I would even say whether they're young or older than myself, for people to just be like, oh, I just go out and just do it, and I've never understood. I mean, like, not that obviously that's not going to be everybody, but even from like earlier on, I've always had to do some like sort of stretch or some sort of like, kind of like practice as far as like moving my arms and legs, like playing drums. But now vocally, do you have anything like, do you have where you take the day, you don't speak, you do like, do you have anything like that?
I could never not speak, so.
Okay.
I have started doing warm ups. My fellow vocalist, but so yeah, I've started kind of doing warm ups. But before it's very recent, but it's a good idea. Like I should have been doing that for a long time. Really
Yeah.
just relax a little bit, but nothing too wild.
Okay.
I definitely have to practice like the day before and like a few times, or I'm just a warm up or nothing comes out.
Oh, okay. I mean, is it more of a strain like on the day of practicing, or kind of like yelling at all like prior to the show, or does that feel more of like a thing where it's like warming yourself up, obviously with saying it's a warm up, but for the show, does that help at all, like the day of?
I usually just do like actual vocal warm ups, like singing.
Okay, got ya. Do you have friends that like introduced you to that, or like from like being on the road, as far as different people that have kind of given you some tips along the way?
Yeah, a few. So
Okay.
I think everyone's in the same boat where they're like, I need to find something that, you know, gives me activity with this thing.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I mean, and on the contrary, have you ever gotten any tips that were awful that you could not use ever again?
No.
Every once in a while, you get things, from somebody that's like, "Oh, I'll try that," and you have the worst show. Like maybe that's just part of like, having the oh my God, what's the word I'm thinking of? With sports where like if your team is in the playoffs and you have a mustache going, you can't shave it because you feel like you're gonna manipulate the team from winning. Oh my God, why can I not think of this term? I'm an idiot. We'll move on from this anyway. I had a point to make and it's been lost and ruined. Anyway, entry. Exit Interview just releases Friday, a couple of days ago. Absolutely wicked. I stayed up till midnight to listen to it, and it is in your face and everything that I wanted from it and more. Where can you tell us about initial moments writing for the record? Superstitious. Oh my God, thank you, Clayton. I appreciate it. Oh, Clayton. All right, yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you. My head too, but we'll just move on.
Yeah,
So.
for sure.
Um,
The initial writing for Exit Interview, maybe some of the riffs that you first heard that were kind of turning into some of these songs.
God, I don't even. It's so long ago at this point. I know that we they were coming up with riffs when we couldn't even play together yet. We took kind of a long time to start practicing after COVID and all that. So we were kind of just sitting on everything. But once we got together, everything came together super fast. I don't know. It's just kind of like more hardcore, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. And then I decided to a little bit too, because I was stuck at home and was like, I'm gonna finally learn how to use GarageBand after 20 years.
Okay.
So it's always collaborative. Like someone has a riff, and then we start jamming, and then all of a sudden it's a song, and that's pretty much it. But I can definitely say I was more stoked on this than I ever have been before.
Okay. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna mention, as far as certain highlights, there's a couple of tracks, but even in Catastrophize. Am I pronouncing that right? Catastrophize?
Yeah.
Okay. So within that track of how there's kind of a melody in your vocals that goes along with the music, and it's not exactly the same, but it's more of the cadence of it. Love it.
Thank you.
So sick. So was the writing to this, was it more of the music was first and you were kind of building vocals around that then?
Yeah, that's what I always do. So I usually
okay.
Right after it's recorded. I'm very slow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people can't be. Sometimes it almost is more frustrating for people. It's like skateboarding, when somebody comes up and they're like, "Oh, I think I want to learn a kickflip today," and then they just do it. That's more frustrating to me than somebody being like, "I'm gonna have to work at this, and then I'm gonna get it. And I'm gonna be psyched on when I get it."
You do that. I mean, if you could shoot lyrics out like that, I cannot.
Yeah, right. I mean, I had a couple of tracks I wanted to dig in, specifically, but there's some moments that feel like it's more of a broad, bigger look at just, some things, and there's other things that feel a little bit more personal. Where did you end up finding as far as, your headspace for writing within this record?
I mean, it just, everything felt fucked for so long. Especially the last few years, and that was just it, really. It was just being super frustrated, and I'm always like that too. Broad things, and then something will be super personal, and that's just how it is. I can't help it.
Sure. Okay. Now, as far as the recording, where was this some time post even the writing process of this? When did you guys start recording?
Either late 2021 or the beginning of 2022. It's probably a little spaced out there, but yeah, just I did vocals, I think, February of last year.
Did COVID ever interrupt any of this at all for you guys personally?
just that initial chunk of time that we stayed away from each other. We've all
Okay.
gotten it at different times, I think after shows and stuff. So nothing while we were recording.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Where now as far as the recording process, how long were you guys in the studio recording for it?
They
Oh, sick. Okay.
like recording here. So we just kind of like get together when we have time and crush it out.
Oh, got ya. Got ya. Now, where was your like the first track that you were working on, and what was the last track that you ended up recording for the EP? So I have to put in a cough drop. I'm like, I think I have COVID right now. I don't know what's going on. Like I feel like I'm like partially dying, so I apologize if I seem like I'm goofy or anything. Sorry about that. So as far as the first track that you worked on in the studio for the EP and the last.
I think it was Catastrophized because it was really short and I already knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I remember doing that, if not first, like very early. And then the last one was Superior because I could not get it right. Like I couldn't figure out there was something about it was so hard for me. I was just like, the song is going to ruin me. And then we finally, we recorded it and then I went back and redid it. It was one of those that just like couldn't get it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, is there anybody, possibly even Clayton, like that is in the band that you work with and kind of like bounce certain things, or is this something that you kind of take to yourself and create very personally, if you will?
With lyrics and stuff, usually everyone just like do what they want, but like does it sound weird, whatever. But this time I was a little more open to criticism with just like technique, or be like, what does this sound like? And then actually he had some really good tips, like you should do this, and then just sounded better. So definitely open to them helping out with that sort of thing.
Sick.
Not but I am.
Yeah, I think it's something too, where like it's always good to kind of have that like personal, mindset toward like what it is that you're trying to do with things. But then I think certainly over the years of hearing out others and, hey, what do you think? Because this feels kind of clunky. Like, how do you, like that's kind of the beautiful thing of, of a band in general is like everybody having the mutual mindset of like having the best thing possible come out of this.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh,
I
nice.
always want to immediately jump in with vocal. Be like, the song started, so I have to start. And, they're like, you could leave some space, and like give yourself some time. And that was a really good piece of advice.
Oh,
like, okay, I don't
okay.
As soon as it starts.
Sure. Okay. Now, do you find yourself like writing, 6 pages of lyrics and then having to kind of strip back, or is that something like how you mentioned where it's almost, kind of just what it is that's feeling necessary for, a specific track?
Yeah, there's never really any extra. I'm trying so hard to finish like a 20-second song. So.
Okay. Were any of these tracks based on baseball at all? I know I see you're a huge fan, constantly at games. Very jealous. I have not been able to be to a game in a few years. So, any touch on that?
They are not, but
No.
I wouldn't be good. One day, complete baseball themed, but not today.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, there's still time for future releases, and yeah, that would be absolutely sick. I love that. Within this new EP, just a couple of tracks I want to touch on. Catastrophize, first off. Just as far as if you have anything that's not ultra like too personal, or something that you prefer not to share, just touching on that song and maybe a memory of working on it or writing.
I mean, it is super personal, but I definitely know people can relate to it. It's just like, just having like pretty wild anxiety about everything, which is like, working on that, but just like catastrophizing, just like expecting just the worst thing to happen all the time. And just, that was something I was dealing with for a while, and I still do, but a little better. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, you just like
Okay.
kind of it's kind of like Final Destiny. Like you're looking around and thinking that like that sign's gonna fall and chop my head off.
Oh no.
But it's like it feels very real at the time, you know.
Yeah. Man. Now, is it something, like where over time just like talking to people or like meeting others that kind of have the same thing that's helped you personally?
Yeah, I have talked to a few people about it, and therapists and whatnot. But yeah, it's a real thing people deal with. So
Hmm.
no fun.
Yeah. Anxiety is not, yeah, it's not fun. It's not something that, certainly myself, but like my wife's sister, like they, always kind of have like certain things where they're bringing up certain aspects. It's like, dude, why are you even thinking like that? But it's just something that people deal with and have to respect. And so, yeah. And having the, music as an outlet to be able to kind of shout that out from time to time, I'm sure is a great thing to be able to have.
Yeah, it's the best.
Now, Ashes Fill the Sky. These tracks actually, too, I have to mention, I chose just solely off of the titles because the record wasn't out yet. So I was like, well, these ones sound pretty sick. And that title was pretty wicked. What can you tell us about that song?
It's very much just like a, kind of climate changey deal. In here we have really bad fires every year, and sometimes there's just literally ash falling out of the sky, like they look like giant snowflakes of ash. That. So that
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's wild. A lot of like the air is terrible, and you're just breathing smoke. It's truly horrible.
Whoa.
I didn't know about it, and now it's just like a huge part of your life.
Now, it cut out for a second. What did you say? You didn't know what?
I didn't even know about the fires and everything until I lived here. But
now I've seen and I've heard that there's fires and people moving to like Denver and Colorado and like surrounding states, but I don't know if I was like familiar with that. I mean, like literally soot falling and
yeah.
Wow, that's insane. Are you guys like LA area?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that is wild. Like, I don't know. I just think of like Hollywood as like this like Barbie city or something, or like LA is like this like type of like typical like beautiful town. And wow, and not to say that it's not. I was gonna say not to say that it's not, but things like that happen. And oh man, that's insane.
Truly terrible air quality.
Whoa. So I mean, are there like certain days that you guys just have to stay inside because of? Like, I know every once in a while we get like alerts on our phones from like the Weather Channel or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Usually I'll check and see, like, go on the weather app, the air quality. There'll be certain ones that's super high. It's like, I'll try to not go outside today.
Whoa, that's insane. Wow, Jesus Christ. Well, so Greed Only Grows. This was the final track, which I think is probably my favorite off of the EP. But what could you tell us about about this song?
I mean, that was just like going through the pandemic and, seeing people not getting money and then just like hearing that all these billionaires are getting richer, and it's just like super infuriating. And that's really just based on that. Just being these people just no matter what, seeing people struggle, doesn't matter. Just keep making money.
Yeah. And I mean, it certainly, I feel like, makes, and maybe like you guys can relate too as far as like in the music scene, but like feeling like personally and having the smaller communities of like maybe a music scene or like closer friends, those things like really push myself closer to others as far as like trying to throw a show, for instance, and there's local bands and then maybe one band is traveling from out of state or something. It's like, hey, let's give all the door money to the band traveling. Like we don't need that. We're just driving a couple minutes away and having a good time doing it. I feel like that's like inspirational. I mean, are there certain things like personally to you to where that's kind of like the middle finger to those fucking assholes.
Yeah, I mean, having that mindset is a good start, you know, but knowing like, I'm not saying that everyone has to give all their money, but you're in a situation like that, give your money away.
yeah. Touche. I mean, you always have that too. I mean, is there anything like from your writing? Do you have like off of books, off of film, off of like? Do you ever have anything as far as any of your lyrics that you've written that have been based on any of those aspects that you are interested in?
Not really. I've tried to like theme stuff before, and for me, it just doesn't work. Like
I feel you.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, right, right.
Really.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, if anything, I might count on a baseball track at one point or another. You know, it doesn't have to be specific, but you know, you and the boys having something come out would be absolutely sick. I do wonder too, like, what is the tie? Are you a Braves fan?
Yeah, I am.
So how does that work?
I follow the Dodgers too, and I root for them, and also the Pirates. But my main team is the Braves. I'm from Virginia. I grew up in the &90s. Just happened. Just became a Braves fan.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's wild.
I was a kid, so.
Okay. Was it like initially like the logo, or was there like a player or something?
I don't know. I've been a fan since I'm really young, so.
Oh, weird. Wow, that's great. I mean, not specifically baseball, but hockey. My dad was always a fan of the Blackhawks and the Red Wings. We're from Michigan, West Michigan, and was always a fan of both. And it wasn't until like maybe middle school where people were like, hey, those are rival teams. Like, you can't like both of them. And I'm like, well, I don't know. They rock. I don't know what to tell you. I still have Chicago jerseys and everything.
Yeah. People are going to be weird about sports. Whenever I say, like, you know, I root for the Dodgers or whatever, like, you can't root for the Braves and the Dodgers. I'm like, yes, I can.
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome. I mean, you know, and that's kind of like the beautiful thing, you know, within even music is like people, you know, saying like certain subgenres, like, oh, you can't, you know, mix this and this, or you can't do what, you know, just have fun, have a good time with it. And oh, dang.
Yeah. Forever.
All right. Yeah. I guess so. I mean, you have a Dodgers too, one or no?
No. I love the Dodgers. I do. But the Atlanta's.
The Braves have just always been there. Sure. That's wicked. I mean, I absolutely love that. You know, there was one last aspect of the EP. I'm sorry that I'm like drifting back and forth. But I don't have a whole lot of people that like baseball. And then I come on here and I see you guys at games and everything. I'm just like, God damn it. Justice, as far as the cover art for the EP here, I wanted to go back to, you know, to this aspect of it really quick. If you can, you know, just tell me where the art came from. Did you guys have a certain idea? Did you kind of throw some things by them as far as what they wanted to do with it?
I just sent him the lyrics and like the general theme of everything and was like, you do whatever. And if we like it, we'll keep it. And he came up with the art and we loved it. And there it is. But he's awesome. I mean, his art is super cool and unique. And it was a good call, I think.
Love it. I love that. That's now, is this stuff typically like the kind of the black over white, like very
yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm not familiar with the stuff. I'd have to look up and see. Does he have like a page on Instagram then too?
I think he probably has some of his stuff on his personal one. He's also like an incredibly talented musician. So if you're into like Elliott Smith kind of music,
oh yeah,
he's amazing. You should check it out. It's unbelievable.
Under the same name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh dang. Okay, yeah, I'll have to check it. You know, I find myself like certain times where I end up I'm trying to do like, you know, research for different things, and then all of a sudden I'll fall down like a rabbit hole of somebody else that has nothing to do with what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know if it's just like an ADHD thing or ADHD thing and trying to like just focus on it, but I did mean to go back and look into his stuff. But that's awesome hearing that, you know, the involved in music and everything too. Have you guys done anything as far as shows with him, or does he have like a full like band type situation at all?
We played played at least 1 or 2 shows with him. And so I think with Justice Prophet, sometimes he plays that by himself and sometimes it's a full band. I got a band called Halloween in Philly now. Yeah, he's always got projects. He had a project called Scary that was really cool.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Like a machine.
That's awesome.
Like,
yeah.
Time and art. And
yeah.
kind of
Who is the time? It's insane. That's crazy. I'm very envious of that. You know, you try and kind of weave through different things, and that's amazing. I love that. And now you guys have some shows coming out of the EP, doing some support with that, correct?
Yeah, we have a bit lined up actually. Just nothing is 100% out there yet. So.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
we're going to be on the East Coast for like 10 or so days in August. I'm just trying booking that, and then some West Coast stuff, hopefully over. Oh, and whatever else.
Yeah, awesome. That's rad. How did you guys end up getting tied up with Adam? Convulse. I'm sorry.
I'm like, wait a second.
My bad. My bad.
Unbelievable. Like, of course he should be mine. We actually met him in 2017. We played in Denver with his old band Product Lust.
Oh yeah.
They're not around anymore, I don't think. But yeah, we met then and just like a friendship blossomed.
Okay.
Usually, when we're in Denver, one of his bands plays. Like last year, we played 4 shows in Colorado, drove us around, and just like he's an absolute gem, just the best person. And he wanted to do a release for us, which, of course, we want to do that. So
totally.
Yeah.
It was funny when kind of we were starting to try to map this out and see like when we could kind of get this in a schedule. And you were talking about doing like a release on a different label, and I'm like, well, it's not Convulse by any chance, is it? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, well, perfect. I'm actually doing a Focus for a whole month, so that lines up perfectly. That was very coincidental, but that's awesome. Okay, so now, did you guys like have talks of like the vinyl and what colors and what releases? I saw that the initial like press just sold out, right?
Yeah, the limited, one of the limited ones did. So that's nice. It's a good feeling.
So sick. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. That's sweet. He does great too. Like, I mean, like he has some very solid stuff. I've had plenty of things now, the releases that he's putting out. I try to not completely break my bank, but cats like him putting out the good stuff that he does, and people like yourselves putting out great music that you do does not help.
Yeah, I've a lot of Convulse Records in my home.
yeah, no. Right.
I haven't even heard it yet, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be good. But
You
that's
haven't
good.
heard what?
Had a good reputation,
You haven't heard what now? Sorry.
I'll just buy stuff that he puts out before I even hear it.
Oh, got ya. Yeah.
Like it'll be good.
Yeah, I find the same. I mean, he's actually like just recently this band called Gum. I don't know. Have you listened to them?
I love Gum. They are
Whoa, so cool, absolutely rad. Yeah, he does a great job. I don't know what the selective process is or how he goes about these things, but absolutely puts out some ripping stuff. And the new EP that you guys did falls right into it. Congratulations, it's been awesome.
Thank you.
I will have, for anybody who's tuned in a little bit later, I'll have this edited and up on YouTube in the next month or so. So you guys have some shows coming up. The EP just recently came out. There's vinyl that's available. Is there anything else I'm missing as far as kind of a wrap on this?
Just if you want to find out where we're playing, just follow the Entry Band Instagram, and pretty much it. Like, thank you to everyone out the record. So
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Sweet. All right, this has been great. Thank you so much once again, Sarah. I really do appreciate it. If you guys are making it around Michigan, I'll have to come and try and not hurt myself because this new stuff rips for sure. Yeah. All right. Take care. Okay. I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much. You having to get up early. This has been awesome. Take care. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
See ya.
You're so lo-fi, lo-fi, a whole guy, yeah. Lo-fi horror guy has been recorded in front of a live studio audience.